So I have had 4 swimmers that have talked to me in the past 2 weeks about how they have been comparing themselves to other athletes. One of them was directly with a friend of hers that got a higher height in Barracuda, and she just wanted to get height because and she wanted to be like her friend. Another one, it was with Barracuda, but she wanted to be doing exactly like elite swimmers do, and what she has learned and seen through the internet, which is great that you people study, right? But there should be kind of a distinction there, which I will talk in a little bit. The other case was on support school, like how to do the support school and how she was doing it in comparison to her friends, and how she needed to be doing it because that's the way that her friends were doing it in her club. And the other one was similar, but it was this is not comparison, but this is actually what coaches do to their athletes, in the sense of what they teach is what it is, instead of and then using another athlete, comparing them to what the swimmer is doing, and kind of letting them know that that's the only way that can be done. Okay, so those are the 4 cases, and I will kind of talk a little bit about some of them. So for the first one, the comparison with other athlete, of course, a lot of us, when we are younger, we do want to be the top level, elite level swimmers that we want to achieve, right? You can dream about it, but there's a process and there's the way, and we need to be conscious about how to get there, what are the steps, and how to get to that point, right? So in one training, you guys, it's impossible to get better in one training. We do need to get to know ourselves, okay? So that's why I do like that you have the support of the coaches. And for example, I do private. So I actually ask my swimmers, what has your coach told you? What has been something that has kind of like click in your mind from what your coach has told you? Let's work from that. And then of course, I do have my own knowledge. So then I do try to combine what is familiar to the swimmer with what I feel that they need. And I try to individualize that correction, that technique. And why do I say this? Because it's very important that each athlete finds their own way. Each athlete needs to find what fits best to them. So for example, the Barracuda thing, a lot of elite swimmers finish with their hands flat, even fingertips facing the bottom of the pool, right? Does that mean that should be what you should be doing? I mean, it depends. Like, if you have learned that technique, go ahead and use it all the way through. But if it doesn't fit you, why you insist on it, right? Like the Chinese have great heights and they actually support themselves over the water, which I have posted one example, amazing example of the solo element, the first one where they do this. And this swimmer actually just goes here, brings her hands to like rib level, does another push, and then does another push there. So she uses her arms all the way through, and it's mind blowing, right? So why not try something like that? Why not? Like, why not try to exhaust all of the possibilities before deciding on what is your technique? Do not limit yourself. Coaches, please do not limit. Let's not limit our athletes, because what we really want to try to achieve is what's best for each individual. So same thing with the support skull. Yes, I do teach it one way, but there are other ways. I've heard many versions of that way, right? And I have my version is the one of grabbing as much water as possible and then leveling out the skull, right? So, like maybe in the beginning, your skull will be looking like this, but you were grabbing water. And I do, of course, do a lot of like technical feedback on that vertical tightness. If there's no vertical tightness, why bother on the support skull, right? Um, well, we do bother either way, but you know what I mean. I do focus a lot on it, and then it's about this that support skull, like grabbing water, and then after leveling out the frequency of the skull. So that's my style. But I know that there are coaches that do coach like an 8. I know coaches that focus more on wrist. I do sometimes focus on fingertips, like how you grab water in and then how you bring it out to grab more, like cut water out, grab water in, and things like that. I know coaches that teach it flat. I know coaches that that uh, do try to find different ways of coaching the support skull, and that's how you should address it. Maybe in the beginning when they're young, the flat version is like the best one. And then once they understand how to grab water, then you can experiment with where their hands are a bit forward, side, back, especially if they're changing positions and things like that. So either way, why do I talk about comparing yourselves? Because it's a way of limiting your progress. And we do not want to limit ourselves, right? We do not want to be like coaches, we don't want to be the ones limiting your potential. So do make sure that if there's a way for you to evolve, you need to keep searching for it. Do not be satisfied with where you are now. If you actually do want to go for higher height, find a way for yourself, but without comparison. Find a way for yourself without looking at what your partner is doing, what the internet is showing you, what the coaches tell you. Sorry, coaches, but you know what I mean. Like, let's do find what feels right for ourselves, and do ask. Like again, I do talk about coaches, and I do talk with coaches, and I try to give a lot of feedback to coaches so that you have the most possibilities to evolve in your own space. So do make sure that you are searching for these options, right? So this was my little talk for today. Do not limit yourself. Make sure that you are not comparing yourself to others, because that's not the way to progress. And love the process, love to experiment, love to play, right? Like, make sure that you play, make sure that you make time to play, that extra time before or after training. Make sure that you find your way, okay? This was Leilani Torres, your artistic swimming mentor. I hope that you liked today's talk. I haven't talked in a while, but this I thought that was actually something that we needed to hear. So hopefully if you find it helpful, you share with other people, especially people that you have heard that have compared themselves to others. And yes, I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, lots of love from me to you. Take care. Bye.